one? Yeah, it's the one. Mike is unmuted.
Yes, 'tis I, the Jiggly-Bug, stealing SJ's string like an evil little bandito. She has just left and abandoned me. I know not where she goes. How dare you! Koopo! Yes, Koopo. So, we're finally base coating these little guys in white. And rather than fuss around too much, we're doing this. We're just gonna spread it out. Oh my god. I did not tenderize these brushes properly. These are new old brushes. They're fresh out of the package, but I don't know how old the package is. Yes, I'm definitely SJ Dobby. Absolutely. I don't know who else this could possibly be. There's nobody else here. Only SJ lives here. This poor Jigglypuff. So, I didn't realize I bought red clay when I bought the clay. So to get us nice soft pink, we're going to have to prime this poor little baby in a nice plain white before we attempt to pinkify him. This brush is not having it. That's a better starter. There we go. So we're just gonna get in all the little nooks and crannies and make it pale so I basically have a work surface to work off of on here. Did everybody eat? Did everybody eat? Did you eat yet? We haven't had dinner, but we just had cheesecake, so we're good. Also, how is everyone doing today? Ooh, fried chicken. I love fried chicken. I am very weak to fried foods. If you dip it in batter and deep fry it, I will probably eat it, except deep fried butter. That is a step too far for me. But deep fry just about anything else, and I'll give it a go. You are black, Dobby. Many hugs. Many jiggly hugs for the black. Don't you blow at me, SJ. Also, I lost my mind today and went on a cleaning spree, which definitely means I'm PMSing. But the cleaning spree was actually involved moving furniture around, so
It's a surprisingly useful warning sign.
it really is. Oh wow, the kitchen's super clean. Cara must be PMSing. Sad truths.
But also then we have a clean kitchen. I just sit around and be grumpy for 4 days and do nothing.
I mean, you know, everyone does it differently, but then once you start, you're pretty much back on the ball. How does a little sphere have so many nooks and crannies?
Because play.
Right now I'm just making a spiky snowball.
It didn't occur to me, we're gonna have to wait for the coats of paint to dry in between.
Yeah, but I can pop between them, like,
Oh, that's
while
true.
Jigglypuff is drying coat 1,
That's true.
I can do coat 1 on the Moogle. By then, acrylic dries pretty fast, so.
That's true.
Oh yeah, today we're just using plain old craft smart acrylics. Because I was able to buy like a 48 pack of them for a really good price. Also, Dobby, that's a mood from my youth. I definitely, absolutely many times stayed up until 3 a.m. just reading a good book and then very much regretted it the next day.
The first time I read Howl's Moving Castle, I did it all in one sitting because I could not put it down.
Yeah, why were you cataloging your Magic the Gathering collection?
It says to sell.
Oh, to sell! You sell those pieces of cardboard. You make someone pay top dollar for them.
I mean, I have vaguely considered Magic the Gathering shaker charms, but I feel like Magic nerds would sooner kill me
Then buy the charm. Yeah.
because I cut up a card, even if it's like a worthless 10-cent card. How dare I cut up the card?
Yeah.
Whereas with Pokemon, it's just like, oh no, this is nice art. Cool.
This is nice art, and there's a million of this card. Getting some jiggle light here. There we go. Smooth that out so there's no weird clumpies when it dries.
My general opinion on Howl's Moving Castle book versus movie Yalk is that you take the characterization and the relationships from the movie, but then you take the actual plot and events from the book and sort of smush them together.
And you have a perfect story in your head.
Yeah, because they're both very, very good, just very good in different ways.
Yeah, Diana Wynne Jones is a fantastic writer, but sometimes she was a fantastic world builder and fantastic plot writer, but oftentimes her character interactions and relationships often feel like afterthoughts to me.
I think part of that is because she wrote for children. A lot of it was just kind of archetypes and I don't want to say afterthoughts, but just like more formulaic and less nuanced.
Yeah.
Whereas that's what Miyazaki is known for.
Getting into the nitty-gritty of these people trying to relate to each other.
Yeah, well, and making them feel very alive. Like, that's the thing, Diana Wynne Jones's characters always feel a little bit cardboardy to me. Like, they don't quite feel alive, right? Like, you can very definitely tell, okay, somebody was writing these characters to go and do this thing and perform this plot.
It's like if you walked away from the story, they would not continue.
Yeah.
Where, unlike, say, with Pratchett, where you walk away and you're like, that story's going well, I'm not looking.
Yeah.
Like, Ankh-Morpork continues to turn.
And always will.
Yup. The disc keeps turning. There we go. Okay. Now it won't look like a disaster when I try to paint this with pink. Also, apparently it looks like the white layer will protect the pink from the red of the clay, because this is definitely mixing a little bit.
Yeah, clay does that.
Alright, Moog, you're up.
Oh, yeah, we were mentioning Discord in the sense of Pratchett's very, very good at writing characters that feel alive. Like, you feel like when you close the book, they're just carrying right on with their lives, whether you're reading about them or not.
Yup.
Yelp does lots of things. Yelp does do lots of things.
Oh, sheep, that you should read Discworld. Ooh, Feet of Clay is a good one. That is a good one, Dobby.
Yes, excellent. Read the watch books. They are my favorites.
Okay, I love the watch books. They are some of my favorites. But here's kind of how I look at the different sub-series in Discworld.
You don't have to project your voice quite so much. That is a very good mic.
Oh, good to know. If you really love a mystery and the nitty-gritty of, like, the city life and people being people in an urban environment. If you want almost modern, almost some like near modern fantasy, read The City Watch first. If you're super into like folklore and mythology and stuff like that, read The Witches of Lancre.
Well, that's the good thing about Discworld is it's such a wide, like even just you and me, I'm not that fond of the witches books, whereas they're your favorites. It's just, it's subjective. Based on, yeah, like it's entirely, and that's not saying that the witches books are bad, just that they're not for me.
Yeah, whereas they're like super my cup of tea. Speaking of cups of tea,
I was gonna say you should drink yours.
Yeah, I was also gonna say one of my favorite moments in one of the witches books is definitely when the main character of the Witches of Lancre books gets bit by several vampires, and instead of her turning into a vampire, her force of will is such that vampires start turning into her.
Concerns.
They start craving a good cup of tea and a biscuit instead of blood. They are very confused and very distressed. Yeah, it's goofy, but it makes sense in the context of the book and the world and the characters. If it had been any other of the characters trying that, it wouldn't have worked. It had to be Granny Weatherwax. Who most of her witching is what she refers to as headology. Which is making people think they will get better, and somehow they do. Alright, little Moogle. This Moogle is gonna need so many coats of white.
Maybe he's just a dusty Moogle.
Are you saying he's like Sasha and he just smashes his little face into the litter box?
Are you implying that Moogles use the litter box?
I mean, we aren't stepping in Moogle shit in the 12s as far as we know.
That's true.
So either they have mastered the privy, or they bury their waste.
Maybe they just poop cloud mallows.
Huh.
You're probably not wrong, sheep.
They are.
And then blame it on the family cat, of course.
Local Mikote very angry at Moogles. The orb defies me. Come here, Palm. There we go.
Are you gonna use your littlest brush to paint tiny toe beans on it?
I hadn't even thought of that, but that's a great idea. I bet you Moogles have precious toe beans.
Sheep has redeemed a hydrate. Drink your tea.
Oh. What is my tea tonight, baby?
I don't know. Drink it.
You're the one who made it.
I know. Can you guess?
Queen of Tarts?
Yep. It's a hibiscus tea.
Much needed, thank you. Because you know I haven't been hydrating in my madness today.
Sure do.
Little toesies. Little feet. Little nubbins. Such nubbin. like I'm gonna have to use like a toothpick to paint on his little eyes and whiskers.
Yeah, I meant to mention there are toothpicks and popsicle sticks right there that you are welcome to use if you need them.
Beauty.
And if you need more, I have more.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I feel like toothpicks are the way to go for Moogle details. Okay. That's coat 1 on our Moogle. This is riveting, I know, the white on white we have going on here. Acrylic doesn't generally take too long to dry, but I haven't really done acrylic on clay, so I don't know.
The first coat should dry really, really fast because the clay is going to be soaking or like sucking moisture out of the paint.
Okay.
The later coats will dry slower because they're paint on paint.
Okay, good to know.
But yeah, your first couple coats should dry relatively quickly.
Cool. I think the Jiggly only needs the 1 coat of white. Since it's going to be a soft pink over that, it was just to keep it from being bright red terracotta underneath there. So for Jiggly, we're going to use some light pink, probably further diluted with a little bit of white, and a touch of pale blue, or a very cool blue, just because Jigglypuffs are actually kind of in that lavender pink, cool pink set. It's a pretty pink right off the bat, take a drop of white in there.
I would maybe not even squeeze the blue, maybe stick a toothpick into the blue and use that to mix.
That's a good idea.
Just so you can super control how much you're putting in.
That's a very good idea. What would I do without you?
Put in too much blue.
Yeah. Aw, thank you, y'all. I feel super cool today. It won't last, but I feel super cool today. 1 to 3 minutes. Thank you, Yelp. I should have just asked you.
Oh, 1-800 number.
Oh, love those 1-800 numbers.
Totally a legit real call.
Totally an actual real business with us. We don't have the if we were younger and had more motivation, we would probably try to screw with them.
I would not.
I might try to screw with them. I'm not motivated enough for that these days. There we go. I think we've got a good color here. What do you think, baby?
Oh yeah, very jiggly pink.
Very jiggly pink. Excellent. I'm gonna give Spikles here another minute, as I can see some wet shine on his little nubbin there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Yelp started programming. Does Yelp program? Does Yelp do?
Yep, does
Besides
everything.
That's what I thought. I'm like, is Yelp not in tech? I'm pretty sure Yelp is in tech. Eek. Eek. Alrighty. Alright, let's go.
Oof. Yeah, that's rough, Dobby. You got this. Just do the best you can, man. I remember university.
I remember your master's degree.
Yeah.
I don't think you were sane for even a second during that time.
I definitely was not.
Oh, this is such a good pink. This is so good. I am a god. No, wait. I am a jiggly god! Kupo!
Concerns.
I'm a confused god, Kupo!
More concerns.
Really do not want your omnipotent beings to be confused. That way lies problems. What baby this is turning into? All Jigglypuffs are babies, but I am speaking of Jigglypuffs. I'm still not anywhere near beating Pokemon Scarlet, because I am immersed in other projects, and oftentimes after a day of staring at screens, I don't particularly feel up to spending more time staring at screens. But so help me God, at some point I will get to that post game, and I will get a Scream Tail. And the world will tremble. Oh no, Bristle Brush. Bristle in the puff. Oh no. Emergency! Emergency!
I also have tweezers. Just wash them off after, please.
Will do. I will take them to the sink and scrub them when I am done for the night. Emergency. There we go. Crisis averted. I mean, speaking of goblins, Sasha is very displeased. She hates when I clean or move things around. And we also had maintenance guys in to do a cleanup of our dryer duct, a clean out of our dryer duct yesterday. So she's basically living in her own personal little kitty hell right now.
She's a creature of habit. She doesn't like things to change.
She really does not. Oh, that's smart. I did absolutely no research ahead of time into how do I paint, because I kind of just work by jumping into things. It usually works out okay. And if my process doesn't work, oh no, I get to make something again. This pink is so good. Oh. Look at this spiky little guy. Just wants to sing and be good. But yeah, Sasha was literally like running around the house, yelling, because I was moving things and cleaning. She decided I was the devil. Again. Brushes. There. There are surprisingly so many places to paint on the Jigglypuff. Just a happy little pup. I'm actually very nervous about painting the eyes because I have no technique planned for that. I'm just gonna go for... Oh! That's handy.
It's the wrong size.
Is it? Yeah, it's a little too big. Note to self, 5 at and 8 sizes. For increasingly tiny Jigglypuffs.
I'm usually fairly good with a freehand if you want me to do
The white base.
or
the eyes.
or do an outline in pencil.
I might ask you to do that just because, yeah, you have a very steady hand for that, and if I at least have an outline of where to work. I think we're almost done with pink coat 1. I am thinking I'm going to double coat the pink just to have it all nice and smooth. Not have it going in 8 directions. Kind of thinking about how I can maybe add texture to the hair flops. Good night, sheep. Sleep well. Indeed, have a good sleep, sheep. Go count yourself.
Cara, just careful with that cord that's caught on your foot.
Oh, thank you. Lalafels stretching out are dangerous. There we go. Alright, buddy, you're done coat 1. What a good little guy. What a nice little dude. If you haven't watched the short and spiky haired Jigglypuff, do it. Do it now. Leave the stream and then come back after you've watched it. No, so if you want to leave and go play Placid Plastic Duck Simulator, we wouldn't blame you there either. That game was so good and it shouldn't be. These little duckies falling from the skies. Kleenexes in your bag? Oh, you have paper towels. That's just as good. If not better. Try out the brush a bit. Move it back to the Moogle, who needs another coat of light.
Kaylee,
E.
do you want me to grab you 2 separate plates so that you don't have the risk of them walking into each other?
That's probably a good idea at this point. Otherwise, I'm going to have a very pink Moogle, which is not necessarily a bad
I
thing.
mean, it is a bride's Moogle, but yeah, I'll go grab you a second plate.
That would be good.
I'll probably grab you 2 smaller plates.
He's given up.
Uh-huh.
Or he wants a belly rub. I'm not sure. Oh, this is the bad brush. This is the not great brush. Right. As you've heard, we're going to separate these kids so that they don't get paint all over each other. We are further whitening this Moogle. Clean as new fallen-ish guardian snow. But so full of evil. Oh, that's the texture. Nice short. Oh, it's a nice texture. Little short, tiny strokes. Makes them look a little fuzzy.
A better idea than plates.
Ooh! Container lids. Disposable.
Here, I was gonna say, you take these. Take the other lid.
scariest part is I showered right before stream because I was super sweaty, but my hands are gonna be so painted.
Yeah, you should have kind of figured that would happen.
I did, but I was pretty gross, and the bigger thing was I was dusty. So I was like, I should de-dustify. Oh yeah, that's giving us some nice little legal fuzz texture. Some nice little short strokes. Look how fuzzy he looks.
Eee.
I'm learning about what? Paint by experimentation. Which is kind of my favorite way to learn. I learn better when I get to make mistakes and try stuff out than if I just read it in a book. Ma'am,
I got this.
your burp clock just made me puff explode in sheer startlement. Y'all should know I voluntarily made the Miko startle emote with my whole body.
That's weird. You're a Lalafell.
Right? I'm confused too right now. Now, I don't know if this is going to show up on camera, but I'll move the little guy up so we can see some of how that paint textured.
Careful.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's going to show up too well.
No,
but
probably not.
no. But there's a little tiny kind of hatching to him that's looks like fluff, fuzz. Great googly moogly goodness. Yeah, you'll need a third coat. There's still some terracotta showing through despite my best efforts. I'm not shocked though. Nubbins.
Please, by all means. Somebody asked why she decided to use terracotta paint or terracotta clay.
I just didn't realize I was ordering it in a terracotta. I didn't read. Mistakes were made. But it's okay, because it's all coming out heckin' cute.
Yep.
Right, we're gonna give you a drying turn. And you're gonna get another coat of white. Spikles is coming along. Still a little tacky. But should soon be ready for another coat. I'm gonna just tip slightly. Look how good this little guy is. He's working hard at being a good little buff. He's gonna be the cutest.
No, just make sure that you're picking up your tea mug and not your paintbrush mug.
Man, you can't say like things like that when I'm in the middle of drinking something. I nearly choked. Also, thank you. I'm heckin' cute. You're heckin' cute. SJ's heckin' cute. Everybody's heckin' cute.
SJ's happy you are finally ready for a Tuesday stream because SJ's heckin' tired.
I noticed. SJ walked in, looked at everything I had done, and needed a minute to process. But then was very happy with everything I had done today. Actually, I'm thinking I want a nice smooth Jigglypuff.
Ooh, Graziel. You have
Ooh.
successfully ended a Dragon Song war.
Right, I remember you were playing the vault recently. How you doing? Did you enjoy the cutscenes?
You know nobody ever does.
But we all tell the Sprouts to.
Yeah, you're right, Dobby. Punching the Pope is good. We highly encourage that.
Please punch the Pope, dear sweet. Look, it took me about 0.2 seconds to look at that Pope and be like, I'm gonna have to kill you later. I'm not even spoiled for this. I just know I'm gonna have to kill you later.
Late night Pope fight. I'd watch that.
Okay, late night Pope fight implies multiple popes fighting, which means
Yes.
necromancy.
Yes.
So I would definitely watch a late night Pope fight. Can you imagine some of like the old school popes coming back to just wreck some of the
Okay, I'm just imagining some poor viewer trying to listen to this conversation without the context that we're talking about Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh my god. I mean, who in their life has not wanted to punch a pope at least once?
Well, Kite and Dabe running away with the same brain cell.
Oh yeah, the multi pope fiasco. That's one of my favorite bits of history.
Also, hi Kite.
Hi, Kite.
How are you feeling?
Oh no, has Kite been unwell?
Yes.
Oh, I hadn't caught that. Kite, have you been getting lots of... Kite, hydrate. Kite, why are there 4 popes right now?
Do you really want to ask that question?
I kind of do, actually. I'm curious. So, sue me. No, do not sue me. You will get nothing. Holding you to assume I have anything to sue for.
The Roman Catholic Pope, Coptic, Greek Orthodox, and Palmarian Catholic. The one we just typically always hear about the Roman Catholic.
This
but
is true.
There are other sects of Catholicism.
Who recognize their own popes.
Yep.
In that. I had never thought about that. That's actually really interesting.
Also, Coptic is just a really interesting thing to study because it is...
It's Egyptian Christianity, correct?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's not Catholicism and it's not Presbyterian. Like, it evolved completely independent in its own tradition. More or less.
More south of you? Oh, okay. I know that there is a significant Egyptian Coptic population now, so.
Yeah, it was part of the main church, but it got cut off from the rest of Christianity by the coming of Islam.
Oh,
So then, from that point on, it just kind of
did its own thing.
Yep.
I mean, are they doing a better job of it than we are?
I think that's highly subjective.
That is true. you look so soft and pink, Sprinkles. Jiggly Spike. Oh, we have a new person. Hello, I am not usually the person who runs this stream. I'm Cara, but this is my wife SJ's channel. Today I have co-opted it to paint this Jigglypuff and this Moogle.
Might as well, I've got the setup.
Yep. I do have my own channel, but it's set up for gaming and I don't have a setup. Yeah, we're just acrylic painting this little clay Jigglypuff.
And Moogle.
And the Moogle.
The Moogle is currently drying.
Moogle is here we go. Shoving a little bit of paint into a crevice to like cover it up here. It didn't quite fully melt the bits of clay together. Playing around. I am not an experienced painter, FYI, but I'm playing around a little bit to try and get like some texture. Smooth body Jigglypuff, but I want to get some texture on them.
And you have sponge brushes.
Yeah. But like hair texture. Which I think the brush I was using for the Moogle was really good for that actually. Because it's got thicker, coarser bristles. It actually does if you do it in little strokes. Gives it some really good. There we go.
If you wanted to get really ambitious, you could also mix a very slightly darker pink and do shaded areas.
I could.
Or like a gradient sort of thing.
I could!
Because that would add texture on top as well.
I will. Ambition, Kupo. What I'll do is I'll do a tiny bit of the pink blast with it.
Fancy.
I'm feeling fancy today. Always hold the lid down.
Yep. Especially on cheaper paint.
Alright, let's see how that does. Oh, just a little tiny bit rosier. There we go. Alright, let's do this.
And I would say maybe not even a full coat of this, just in certain areas.
Oh, yeah, that's the
Offer more texture.
Emergency salt.
Oh no, it's paint.
How dare I get paint on things? Vroom vroom. They must vroom to let us know something. And then, yeah, you were right, doing a tiny bit of a darker pink for the hair fluff. Looks really good. It's probably not super visible on camera, but it looks really good in person.
Maybe do it on the hand nubs and the feet nubs too to help them stand out from the body a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, it just gives it a tiny bit of extra oomph. Makes our little guy here look really good. Also, this brush was the correct choice as I look at this texture.
Mm-hmm.
trick is to do a little bit of work with it as it's starting to get a little dry and tacky,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll put the texture in. Actually, trying to kill it.
Do they at least keep indefinitely, Alk?
Tiniest drop is on its own. Aha! There we go. Almost gives it a little tiny bit of highlighting.
It's shelf stable. Oh, it's like a jam. Okay, fair enough.
What is?
Chutney.
Ooh, chutney. Chutney. Don't get that too often. Usually has stuff in it you're allergic to. There we go. Little rock and roll pup is coming along. Little jiggly punk. That looks real good. Alright, now a little bit on the nubbins. Oh, yeah, that's real good. So I don't think we need another full coat of pink at all. We just need some nubbin work. Oh, I might use a smoother brush for the nubbins though. There we go. A little bit of nubbin work. Bit on the feeties. Foot nubs. A little tiny bit more. Edges of the ears. This is becoming much more ambitious than I pictured myself doing. In a good way. There we go. Tickles, you're looking good. Happy little puppets.
Oh no, she's turning into Bob Ross. Send help.
We're just gonna paint a happy little Jigglypuff today. And you know a Jigglypuff is always happiest when it is committing murder. You're gonna need a lot of red paint. You chose this.
I know.
Just to point out, you chose me. I asked, you could have said no. I'm glad you didn't.
Who would make you tea?
I would, but it wouldn't be as good. It would be subpar tea. There we go. Look at that. What a good little dude. Let's there we go. I'm gonna have to clean this water soon.
Ah, yes. Paint milk.
Ew.
Am I wrong?
No, and I'm mad at it. There we go. This happy little Jigglypuff's gonna need some drying time. And now this evil little Moogle is gonna get some love. I mean, she could have said no when I asked, but I would have made literally the saddest faces and she would have felt really bad.
Oh, yes.
Also, she had been, like, not so low-key, hinting that she would like to get married for, like, 4 months at that point, if not longer.
Yeah.
But I had already planned the proposal by that point, so I kept having to brush her off. And I did that way harder than I meant to.
Yeah. But, I mean, on the plus side, it meant that I was definitely not expecting the proposal at all.
You were not. I'm just gonna throw away all of this excess plastic before I become drowning in it. Wait. What did I hit? Oh, cool. I'm cool. It was a bold strategy. It was a terrifying strategy. It was extra hard because a couple of other lesbians that we're friends with had gotten engaged on I proposed in January, February.
January.
A couple of friends of ours, lesbians, couple, together for ages, got engaged on Halloween when one of them carved out in pumpkins, "Will you marry me?"
And set up a whole display, so Britt saw it as soon as she opened the door.
Yep. And, yeah, when something that cute happens, it's very hard to keep keep the wedding bug from biting. Oh yeah, you're actually good for another coat. Acrylics dry so fast, I love that. I know it's cheap paint, but it dries so fast and I like it. Fuzzy Moogle. Fuzzy Moogle. Fuzzy Moogle. Fuzzy Moogle. And reduced to strange song choices.
I mean, I am also playing music. You just don't have the headphones on.
Oh, that's true. I totally forgot that. Powdery and clean until you roll around in the champagne, and then we can all tell what you've been up to, Moogle.
Oh god, can you imagine a sticky Moogle?
Yes, that's called a baby Moogle.
Why is it so sticky?
Just hiccups. Oh, went into the winery, did you? I got in a barrel. Well, that's a whole batch of wine down the drain. Honey pie.
I don't know. I almost think in Gridania, wine that has been lightly seasoned by Moogle is like
just your average drink.
Yeah, it's like that fancy wine you can get that's got like stuff suspended in it. It's
just a Moogle floating on top of your wine barrel.
Yeah. It's fine.
This is fine. This is just normal here. It's fine.
You could probably charge a premium for that.
You could charge a premium to have the Moogle removed. Oh, you want it without the Moogle? That's another 100 gil.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how we serve in Gridania. Let's get some texture on your little face. Okay, the hardest part with the Jigglypuff is actually accurately locating where the eyes belong on the face.
Mm-hmm.
Too low and it's weird, too high and it's extremely surprised. So I haven't decided what expression I want him to have, but I want him to be happy. I want him to be having a good time.
I can work with that.
Once this little guy is done, I can finally present our friends who got married with their cross stitch as well, because I plan to give it to them in a demon box replica. But then I got, the Rona and life happened. And frankly, in a week I'll probably be mostly dead because I work retail and it's Christmas time. Pray for me in whatever manner suits you. Ooh, faceless Moogle is worrisome, Youk. Thank you. Yes, much rip. Very dead. And we're on the palm, which doesn't need to be all... Actually, if anything, sponging it on for the palm might be better, because it always looks like really short fluff. Okay, I need to cram some paint into a hole, it's fine.
Did you want to take that again?
I said what I said. You've heard me say worse.
Nelk says you should leave the Jigglypuff eyeless and just put it next to the lamp.
I would, but I think I would end up divorced at that point.
You come down in the middle of the night to just me crouched in the darkness, frantically painting eyes onto it.
I'd just be like, you know what? That's fair. I mean, we do have that crochet Jigglypuff that has no mouth or arms.
She's right here.
Oh. Oh, baby. I'm covered in paint. Will you show them?
Oh, I've showed her off on stream before.
Okay.
That's why she's up here.
The saddest Jigglypuff of all. She has no mouth, but she must sing. Oh, you look so little, Fluffy. So Silky Moogle. Silky Moogle. There we go. Such a texture. So I'm very glad I did this today because I definitely needed to not just stop after doing lots of things all day, but I needed a much more chill way to come down from all of the house cleaning.
I just hope your energy carries you long enough to actually make dinner.
God, I hope so. I mean, like I said, I won't go as late as you normally do. Because there's only so much I can get done in one sitting. I feel like I might reach a point where I have to let them dry before I do, for a day before I do anything else to them. But babe, please look at the texture on this nickel.
Mm-hmm.
So good. It won't show up well on camera, unfortunately, but I will try and take good pictures later to yeet into the crafting channel to see if we can show off that very fuzzy looking texture. Yeah, doing the edges of the ears in the darker pink was a good idea.
Do I need to trace eyes?
I'm gonna do her ears first.
Fair enough.
The little black triangles in the ears.
Gonna do them straight black? I think you should do them a very dark pink.
They're black though. In the anime and stuff, she just does.
Oh, I know, but this is... I didn't know how strictly you were gonna keep to anime cell shading.
Ooh, you know what? I have an idea.
When it's a clay figurine.
I have an idea.
I just feel like pure black would be way too jarring
Yes, probably.
on a 3D figure.
Yeah, I thought about some stuff like that too, actually, where it was like, also unsure how to make certain things work. Yeah, so far.
Congrats on the pony dummy. But yeah, I would say like a very, very dark, like rose pink red. I would maybe not even add any black to it. Oh, never mind.
Too late.
Yup.
It's kind of a pink gray, which I think works. I might add a touch of red to that though. That's probably. Well, we'll see.
I can say that still feels a little dark to me, but it is your figurine. You can also, if you want to see how it's going to look, brush it onto the paper towel or something to see closer to what color it'll be. I mean, it's better than straight black.
Yeah, it's kind of more on the gray with a pink tinge to it. I need a finer brush than this for this. That'll do.
And this springs like a banjo.
I mean, you know, I'll make music anywhere.
I mean, just so long as you don't collapse the arm.
Thunk. Yeah, see, that looks good. The grayish.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Ah. This is a very delicate operation, folks. So delicate. Oh, geez. It's fine. Everything is. Actually, everything is fine. The shocking plot twist. That's actually heckin' cute. Here we go. We got a heckin' cute baby happening here.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for calling me on reaching for straight black. That would have actually looked absolutely terrible, so thank you. We got little ears! Little ears! Jigglypuff ears are in fact quite large, but good baby. I think we are at the point of eyeballs.
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 Is that my cue?
That is your cue.
And I have the chair. Just
Yes.
because that'll be...
I'm gonna go change out the water too, so that works.
Milk. Milk.
Ew. Sorry.
No, I just didn't want you to scrape the blanket across the...
Across the pane.
Yes.
Very tough.
I mean, the blanket is washable, but... Alright. So I need a pencil. Do I have... Yes, this is definitely a pencil. Okay. Hello, friends. Familiar hands. Alright, sweetie. Where are your eyes? I remember the Michelangelo quote about looking at the block of marble and really seeing the figure that lies inside. I'm just contemplating this Jigglypuff and trying to find where the eyeballs naturally lie.
Sasha was so busy hiding from the possibility of me
I heard.
moving anything else.
How do you feel about a winking Jigglypuff?
I love a winking Jigglypuff. Not at all because it means less eyeball painting for me. And I even have a good color mixed up for the winky part. Casually squeezing all the water out of this sponge into the paper towel.
Don't watch, please.
Okie doke. You'll be over here. Probably torn out your cat for 30 seconds.
Yeah, actually, that's about alright. Actually, yes, let's mix that up. Right? Ta-da! Well, she's ran away. I'm not sure how I meant to keep y'all entertained.
no, there's a paint drip. God damn it, Kaylee. There's a paint drip on the back of one of my resin charms. It's fine. This is why I have wet wipes. There we go. So I doubt it shows. Oops. But I made a set that are like a peachy pink color with holographic glitter in them. Oh yeah, it is kind of showing up on camera. Yeah, it's got holographic glitter in it. So these are gonna make some real fun charms. Hello.
Hello.
You took too long.
I took too long.
Your Jigglypuff has a face.
Well, my Jigglypuff has the beginnings of a face.
Yes.
I brought these so you can hand them to me when my alarm goes off.
Thank you.
My phone is downstairs. At 7 o'clock.
Go get it.
I'm like, I'm forgetting something here.
Uh-huh. How's that face look?
Heckin' cute. I might have to. It's just as well we're getting my phone because I might want to pull up an exam, like the a reference for the eyes. Okay. What a happy little face. Here we go. Okay, this is really hard because this is the part that's really hard. Because either I'm doing good, but this is the point where it either comes out looking heckin' cute or slightly demonic.
Both are acceptable for Jigglypuffs.
That is true. In case you didn't hear, SJ says both these options are acceptable for Jigglypuffs, and she is correct. I'm gonna do the overall white first. Thank you, baby. Carefully do the circle in white. Figured doing the non-pure black again for the winky eye was a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was naturally just like a little crease in the clay there, and I'm sitting there going, this Jigglypuff is winking at me.
Maybe I just unconsciously did that when I sculpted it. There are deliberate things I did when sculpting, like I actually pressed in the ears to give them a curvature so I would have an idea of where I wanted to paint them.
Yep.
I actually have to do a little bit more on that one. Nice thing is, if I heck up, I can go over it a little bit with some pink and fix the edges up if I have to. What a happy little guy. What a sweetheart.
Paint milk.
What's the difference on what, kid, eh?
Probably between cute and demonic.
Oh, it's subtle, but it's there. Need a little tiny bit of red. I'm just going to pull up a Jigglypuff. Should I be concerned that my autofill for Google is going to Jigglypuff with knife, Jigglypuff with axe?
Oh god.
good Puff. He's a good boy. Immediately place wet wipe. Take it that was your doing.
I pulled it out because there was a spot of paint on the back of one of my resin charms.
I'm very sorry.
That's all good. That's why I pulled out a wet wipe.
Gonna paint a little mouth. Little mouth. The tiny little mouth. I'm gonna mix that with a touch of pink, because everything needs a little pink. That's it. That's my life philosophy. You needed a little pink in your life. It was me.
Yep.
The finest of brushes. No. I hear little paws outside. Concerns. He's getting a little mouth. And then we're going to add a tiny bit of the gray to the red. That's not going to do what I wanted. Maybe it would help if I actually mixed it in another thing. You know, just a tiny bit. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. One little wink and one soulless, pupilless staring eyeball. As the Jiggly gods intended. You disagree? Strongly, I take it. Fair enough. No, I'm going to do the color fill first and then decide what I want to do for darker ones. So I need kind of an aqua blue. Pale. Pool blue might do the trick.
Erin, good evening.
Yes, these are not SJ's hands.
They are not. SJ is supervising tonight.
SJ is supervising tonight. SJ has kept me from doing many silly things tonight. Shocking nobody.
I'm the creative director.
You are the creative director. You're working with my super cheap acrylic Craft Smart paints.
Man, so far they're doing the job.
They sure are. They've done a really good job so far, actually. I joke, but it's, you know, this Jigglypuff's looking pretty good. I'm very proud of him. Also, I imagine it's my vigorous stirring that got a paint fleck on.
I was just thinking that.
The brush must be clean. We are making we're making two Caras because we're making a Jigglypuff and a Moogle.
The two sides of Cara.
It's true.
Now we just need a cat bug. Maybe that should be your next project.
Oh man, that'd be fun. Catbug has some, like, interesting, weird shapes. But is overall smooth and round. I love me a catbug.
Obviously.
Sugar pea. More for that tree. Here we are. Rin, I would like to point out that I am not a skilled or practiced painter, but I'm just having fun today. I'm just vibing and doing my best to make a cute Jigglypuff and a cute Moogle.
Well, here's the trick. If you practice, you
Become
become
good.
practiced.
Ma'am, how dare you?
What?
How dare you be logical and correct? I may have to start, like, because I'm very external motivated, I might have to start asking people in Julie's chat, hey, what should I sculpt?
Cat bug.
I mean, obviously, yes, a cat bug.
There's actually a guy that I'm following on Instagram that is wanting to practice his wood carving skills, and he's making literally every Pokemon.
All of them?
All of them. He started with Bulbasaur, and he is just going through and making all of the Pokemon. And, like, yeah, they're janky and blocky, but he's getting better. And some of them are really heckin' cute. So, I mean, you could do something similar. Just sculpt all the Pokemon.
God. How to make your wife scream in real time. Nope, we are not getting anywhere near the color I want with that.
White.
No, it's, this one's a lost cause at this point. We're switching to...
But I think you're gonna need more white. I would say if you're mixing, put a lot less in than that.
Yep, that's what I should have done. Actually, that with a tiny bit of turquoise should do exactly what I wanted to.
Also, if you want to use the toothpicks or popsicle sticks to stir to get a more even mix without your brush getting all gloopy.
Oh, that's a good idea. There we go. That's more what I wanted. Here we go. Now I've got the colors I wanted. I'll probably have to rinse this palette after though to do, because I don't have a space to do a Moogle Palm color.
I mean, you have the center bit.
That is true. The center bit is full of debris though.
Mm. Probably because that's usually where I used to mix paints.
When I say debris, I mean like flecks of the paint I've been using.
Oh, yeah, fair. Also that.
Look at this, I'm like, you know what? I'm close enough. This is my Jigglypuff. The eyeballs don't have to match perfectly.
Nope. As long as you're happy with them, that's all that matters.
It's gonna be a good little boy. Gonna be a good little Jiggly boy. You like the tiny bit of dark pink I did on the cheeks?
Yeah.
Alright, my little dude, let's go. Referencing for how to do certain parts of this though.
I would say just do a full circle, and then you can go over it again with white for the eye shine if you decide you want eye shine.
Yeah, well, the thing with Jigglypuff eyes is they're actually two-tone. They have a great... A more skilled artist would probably do them with a gradient. I am not that artist. Not yet. So the fun trick with a Jigglypuff is leaving enough of the white, but not too much of the white.
Yep.
Otherwise, it looks like your Jigglypuff has been up to some interesting things.
Alright, who gave the Jigglypuff cocaine?
This would really explain the Kanto Jigglypuffs. Oh god, are they all?
I mean, Team Rocket is from Kanto.
All the sculpt them on. There are some Pokemon I'm like not sure it's physically possible to sculpt.
Won't know until you try.
Oh god.
No one says they have to be life-size, just make tiny little ones.
Oh no, god, I was never going to go life size. What kind of crazy person do not answer that? Ghastly is technically impossible to sculpt. Thank you, Red. Barris. Red? Barret? Barris Red.
I asked once. I believe they go by either or both. Say,
Medication time.
Go ahead and I just say swallow that one while I get the other one out.
Medication time and I'm covered in
I was
paint.
gonna say medication time, and I'm the one that has clean hands.
This is why we married. We got
Take a
married,
whole
right?
one, right?
Yep.
Say
Oh.
There we go. Meds taken.
Success. Okay, so we're gonna give Jiggles a little time to dry that part of the eyeball. I don't need to do another layer of white, so if I could actually use... Could you do me a favor?
What?
Actually, no, I'll do it.
What?
Can you Google the Demon Box minion and tell me what color the palm is
Oh,
on the
yeah.
Moogle?
For sure.
Because I don't think it's a yellow palm. I think it's like a fun pink or red to go with the wedding theme. Thank you for the self-care, Rebecca. This is my... Honestly, that's my favorite thing that's happened in the last week.
It's like a orangish peach color.
Okay. Oh, I can actually work from this one then.
Like I would say it's a touch more like coral orange. Yeah, perfect.
It's coral with a little extra pink in it, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're gonna trade out Jiggles. Spikles. The good boy. Careful, careful, careful. If this fell and crumbled to dust, I would just break out weeping on stream, and nobody needs to see that. It would be the saddest. Oh, thanks, ADHD.
Uh-oh.
No, I just remembered the time you came home one day and I had
Oh, yeah.
slipped getting something out of the cupboard and dropped that can of coffee, and there was just me sitting on the kitchen floor crying, surrounded in ground coffee.
Yup.
And you were just like, that kind of day.
I was just like, what happened here?
I don't think I was able to like give a good answer. I was so distraught. Oh man, that sure was a time. We were so baby. I mean, we're still pretty baby, but... She literally asked me if I needed a hug that day. She was like, "Do you need a hug?" I'm like, "Yeah." Let's see. Oh, that's a good palm color. Look at that. Look at this cute little palm. Look at you. You're just gonna be the cutest Moogle. If y'all are wondering about the wires sticking out of this Moogle, there was no way in hell that I was going to sculpt tiny wingies onto it. We're doing those in fabric. I was like, I don't feel confident in sculpting to attempt that. Love, could you rip me off the tiniest corner of paper towel? I will hand you the paper towel.
I was gonna say, you're making me get up.
No, I'm the horror. No, I'm
Tiniest corner of paper towel?
Yeah.
For what? Oh, to keep the palms separate from the move.
Yep. This is definitely going to need another coat, but at least this way.
Is that enough?
Yeah. Oh, hey! The wire holds better than I thought it would. It's actually holding the palm up.
I wouldn't trust it forever, though.
No, that is why I'm just like, not. Have a good sleep, Kitty.
Good night, Kitty.
But what if I do a happy scram? Just.
Yelka is asking, have you considered polymer clay instead of air dry?
I've never worked with. Well, I hadn't worked with clay since I was like a teenager, so I got what was cheap and workable. But I would be definitely open to trying out polymer clay.
Polymer clay also comes pre-colorized.
Oh, I think I know is that what we would have called plasticine as kids?
I don't know, but it's oven baked clay rather than air dry.
Yeah, I wanted to do air dry first because I wanted to like get a feel for it. Here we go. This is a very expressive little Moogle. Thankfully, the Jigglypuff pink is just right for a little Moogle snoot.
The tiniest snoot. Do not boop the snoot until the snoot is dry.
I will attempt to resist. Little snoot. Little snoot.
It probably won't focus if you're holding it that close.
It's doing okay. Little snoot. Do not put the paintbrush into the coffee cup.
I mean, we've all done it.
We're in the danger zone now, guys. Little mouth. Little Moogle. Little Moogle.
Moogle snoodle. Yes, exactly.
Rowan will love it anyway. And then the teeniest little whisker. Do you think I should go pure black for the teeny little whiskers instead of the kind of gray pink black?
No. Like, if anything, I think you should go a lighter gray.
A valid point. Add some white to that. we go. Oh yeah, that'll be better. And little whiskers. It's cute. Doo-doo. Ah, yes. Cute little Mook. Oh, I know what's missing. Moogles have a little pink in their ear triangles. Back here, paper towel chunk. Moogles have a teeny bit of soft pink that matches their little nose. Oh, like something's missing. Once everything else is dry, I'll turn them upside down. Redo the bottom bits because the clay is showing through a little bit, and paint little beans. There we go. A happy little Mook. Yeah, why do you know that blue is the most delicious paint flavor?
Oh, every painter has at some point drank their paint water, Kaylee. It's just a thing that happens.
I do not like that thought. Do not like that thought at all. We're gonna scoodle back to the jiggles. Let this pond continue drying. I don't know what happened there. That did not. I think there was a little bit of water in the cup because that did not go on in a good layer. I'm gonna have to definitely second layer the palm. Oh, maybe don't leave open paint bottles near the edge of the counter, Kaylee. Bad Cara. Don't do that. Like, super don't do that.
I mean, you are the one that would be scrubbing the floor.
But I'd be crying the whole time, and you would feel sad for me. Not sad enough to help me clean it.
No, certainly not.
But sad.
I would just quietly close the door.
Just be like, bye. I'll leave you to it. Bye. Me sobbing intensifies. Look, it's very similar to ignoring the cat, so. Alright. Next stage of Jiggly Eye.
Round.
Yes. And we'll give a little bit of shade. Jiggly looks special and beautiful instead of soulless and terrible.
Yay.
do a little bit of the white again just to fix it, but look at that. Look at that, sweetie. And last little touch. And last little touch, and we have ourselves a little Jigglypuff. First I fix this bit of blue over here. It's fine. Everything is fine. Let's here we go. Look at this little buff.
So cute.
Look at this little guy. He's actually really adorable.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Did a real good job.
Needs a little bit of cleanup around the eye with a little bit of the white, and I might... No, I don't think I need to do the gray lining.
No.
No, I just
No,
need...
I think if you tried, it would be too much. I think it's fine.
I just need to fix up the white to clean it up a little bit. Yeah, what a good little dog. Here we go. What a happy little dude. A sweet, happy little dude. I missed a little pink on the underside of his hair, though. We're gonna fix that. We turn the Jiggly upside down. Just get in those weird little crevices. Punch in those weird little spots. Oh, I missed a whole bunch over here. What the heck? What even happened here? This is why we check again. Proof our work, I guess? He wasn't dry earlier, so I could flip him right over and check on him. Look at all those little bits I missed. Make sure he's as sweet and puffy as can be. Here we have a shockingly stable Jigglypuff. I don't normally associate the word stable and Jigglypuff together, but stares forever at Anime Puff. There we go. Look at him. He's just a little guy. He's vibing.
Oh, nice, Rubik. And if you scroll down, I've got the widget installed on my About page,
and as long as you're signed into you in Twitch, you'll see your information in it, not mine. So you don't even have to like install anything. You can just check the widget on my page.
Just play it on yours.
Yeah.
Nope, you're not dry enough. Leave that for a few minutes. Back to the Moogle. It's also shockingly close to completion. Carefully, carefully. Pink blades. Which I think are clean up, because that's gonna dry, solidified, and stuff together. There we go.
I mean, generally the plastic that they're made from will not bond to the acrylic.
It still makes my life easier later. A little bit. There we go. Nice good mix up. This brush nice and well. Also, thank you guys for being here. It's as with SJ and her crafting, it's very motivating to like have an audience. Oh, there we go. That's a much better coat. Look at that.
For anyone curious, I am in fact crafting in the background. I'm sitting here crocheting.
She is indeed. She's working on a really cute pink, blue, and white blanket.
Not a blanket.
Oh, what is it for?
It will be if I think it's a vest. I've got an idea for how I can drape it and then just sew 2 seams to turn it into a vest.
Oh.
It's a prototype.
It'll be great. And if it's not, you get to make something again.
Exactly.
And try to take a... So with me, the crafting and the arting, my big thing is a fear of it not coming out well. And we've been watching some great YouTubers who... Evan and Caitlin, who really remind me that if you fail at it, you just get to make again.
The more important thing is having fun in the making.
Yeah, and that you tried, and, played around, and you experimented, and you figured some stuff out.
We really need to get some of those make shirts.
Yeah, or do they come in aprons? I'd love an apron for when I'm painting.
We could suggest that they have them come in aprons.
Yeah, I feel like it would be weird if they didn't have that in a crafting apron.
Well, it depends on what their merch supplier is.
That's true. I would love to check their merch supplier and see if they have that in an apron, because granted, given that I lean towards paint, it would be very nice to have an apron that's not from my kitchen.
I mean, we could just buy you a specialized paint apron.
This is true.
Or I could make you a specialized paint apron. I do know how to sew.
It has to be not too cute is the problem.
I will make you the ugliest apron.
Perfect!
That sounds like a challenge.
Make me the ugliest apron, SJ. Make a stream about it. Today we're crafting the ugliest apron for Cara. This was a special request. She needs to not be afraid to get paint on it. Oh, there we go. Okay. Aside from touching up the belly when everything's dry, I think this Moogle's pretty done.
Very cute. That palm is the exact right color.
Go me.
Now we just need to figure out the wings.
Yup. That's a joint effort.
Yep. I think it'll be fine. We just need to get some felt.
Yeah, some little felts that we can cut out and just attach, like glue to it.
Yep.
But it's really not difficult. It's just a matter of if I had sculpted them, they would have fallen off in a week.
Yeah.
Yes, touch the Moogle belly. Do it. Boot that snoot, guys.
It's wet. Don't boot the wet snoot.
Boot the snoot.
That's how you get the Moogle flu. Nobody wants that.
I bet Eorzea really was ravaged by something called
Right?
Moogle flu at some point. And it was characterized by lethargy.
No,
And
Yalk's
hunger.
got it. Yalk's got it. Flugel.
The flugel.
Oh,
Hey, we got the flugel, eh?
Oh no, I think he's caught the flugel.
Y'all are killing me. I love you all. Oh, all of us are so dumb. I love it. Positive dumb. Oh, God. The flugel. Ah. Tucking the paints away because I'm pretty close to done. We won't need any new colors. We're gonna try and touch up our sweet boy here now.
Smaller brush.
This is about as small as I have. Oh, not true.
I was gonna say, I have smaller brushes. Kaylee, do you want one even smaller than that? Look on the other side of your paints. I have the two tiny ones that I... Nope, on the table.
Oh.
I have the two
Ooh.
tiny ones that I use for painting charms.
Thank you.
Just don't smoosh it in the paint. You only need just the barest bit.
Maybe we go this way. Oh, yes. The tiny brush is very good.
Yes, that's why I stole it.
Where did you steal it from?
Your paint set?
Oh! Okay, I was like...
Because I asked you when I started painting charms, I'm like, hey, do we have tiny paintbrushes? And you went, yes, in that tin, just take whatever you need. And
I was
took
like...
the two tiny ones.
I was like, did you raid the art department at work?
no, I raided your little tin of brushes.
Fair enough. That's gonna be killing me all week. Speaking of, I got my flu shot. Everyone, get your flu shots if you're able. Ooh, how was the day after that, Yelp? It's like, I know I had to stay home from just a flu shot.
Yeah, but you're sensitive.
Yeah, I always. It wasn't even like fever or anything. Everything hurt. Like, that's it with me. I just always hurt everywhere after a vaccine.
Your body just consistently goes, ah, invaders!
All my muscles go. Emergency, emergency. Everybody feel pain. I'm just like, maybe we could try not? And body's like, no. Come. Down in my book. I can admire you every day. Maybe I'll put it in the display shelf.
That's a good idea.
Be like, this is a thing I made in amidst of these professionally made statues. Ooh. That's I need an extra shading there. Cool. Look at this little guy. Look at this little guy.
He's cute.
I would say this Jigglypuff is an enormous tiny success. Tinormous success. I'm going to leave his eyeball alone now.
Leave his eyeball alone now.
Okay. Once he dries, I have to do a tiny bit of lighting. He's good. Alright, let's fix your little moogly belly. Oh, your palm is still a little tacky.
I was gonna say you could always leave it
Do it off stream.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty done now, so. I think there's Sasha fluff in the palm.
Yeah.
Shocking nobody.
Rowan has cats, she'll understand.
Yes, my body do go scree, Yalk. It goes scree a lot. It goes extra scree because I have a migraine disorder to boot, so when I get vaccines that set me off, it usually also causes at least a nasty headache, if not a full-blown migraine. But also, yes, Rowan does have cats and will understand.
In fact, she would probably be touched to know that Sasha has contributed to her wedding present.
In some way. Casually darkens the wire on the palm. There we go. Look at that. It's starting to look like a real palm. There we go. Some good little guys. And I think they're done, aside from some tiny touch-ups I'll have to do once everything's dry. They are essentially done. We got our little Spikely Puff, who came out really well. I'm really proud of him. I'll try to get some good pictures so we can actually see the texturing I managed to do on his hair spikes, because that's actually really cool and I really like that. I think I'm going to try and blend the nub color a little more on this one later. And our little Moogle, who's got a little face and has a little tiny bit of mange on his belly. Just needs to be fixed later. I will also add toe beans later, and I will try to take pictures of the toe beans, because that'll be pretty great. And because I know both SJ and I are starving, I think that's stream for tonight. I know it's shorter than a usual SJ stream, but I'm not used to streaming.
Not by much, though.
Not by much. An hour.
Yeah.
Oh no, I started early.
Yeah.
So good night, everyone.
I will be back tomorrow with Pokemons as usual for Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So
Everyone have a great night. Stay safe, stay happy. Remember to eat something. And we'll see you later. Thank you.